Hello everyone, this is Arun Rakwal and I welcome you in this session of Windows Azure. In today's session, we'll deploy and build a Windows Azure application in 5 easy steps. I'll quickly go through what we're going to do today. We'll be creating a Hello World applications using Visual Studio project in .NET. We'll update application contents with some Azure stuff or simple changes. We'll create a package which includes a configuration definition file. We'll create a Azure hosted service, and finally we'll upload our package in Azure. Let's do it in next 5 minutes. First step, we'll open Visual Studio. Always open Visual Studio in an administrator mode. It gives you an elevated permissions on your local system, and using that you can run your Azure projects in an elevated permissions or using Windows Azure emulator. I'll go to File, New and Projects. For this demo, I'll use a cloud as my language. Use Visual C++ as a language. Choose one cloud project and of Windows Azure Cloud Service. Let me change the name to Hello World. Click on OK button. Choose the location which suits your demo location. I'll use ASP.NET web role. Depending on your choice, you can use different kind of roles and worker roles. Click on OK button. It will open a Visual Studio Azure Cloud project for you. We'll try to make this example simple. So we'll not be doing major changes in the solution itself. For first example, we'll just change to welcome to Also, recently I've been to a wonderful university called PMU, so I dedicate this example to PMU only. Alright, with this we are good. That's it. I'll quickly go through the web role settings to help you understand what web role is. We all know what is web role. It's a compute, it's a VM on the net. We'll keep the instance size as 1 and we'll keep the VM size as small. You can choose small, medium, large, extra large and extra small. Small is 1 compute and then medium 2, and anything else is multiple of 2s. Extra small is a shared instance. I'll make it 1. Again, you can go to settings and do multiple choice. You can add certificates. We'll do in subsequent examples, but for today's example I guess we are good. Next thing is, let me save it first. I'll run it on a local Azure emulator to ensure everything is fine. So I'll click on F5 button. For first time it will take little time because it has to start emulator and load everything onto Azure, and so I'll wait for a couple of minutes. If you got some time, you can look into the configurations files and definitions files also, which has the details of the configurations or properties of your Azure deployment. Configuration file contain details like number of instances and connection strings and other stuff. And definition file contains the size of the instance. Alright, so looks like our first example is ready. Okay, here we are. Yeah, so we are able to run it on our local Azure emulator. This was our third step. Now I'll close it. Just to see how it is working, you can go to Azure. Alright, I have multiple things running. You should able to see an Azure sign which tells that it's working on Azure emulator. Right click and go to show compute emulator UI. This will tell you settings similar to what you can find on your portal, Azure portal. Sorry. My Hello World application is running on my emulator. I have only one web role and only one instance. So I'll close it at this moment, and now I'll move to a next step. which is to create a hosted service and subsequently deploy it on Azure. So let's go back from here. Now my first job here is to create a package out of this role. You have multiple way to upload your site to Azure. You can just go to publish and do it. I'll prefer the way of packaging it first, because this is how usually you're gonna do in a production environment, where you hand over your package to your test team and test team will test it and then further deploy it into production team or give it to production team. So I click on package button. When you say package, this process will compile your DLLs and put it together into a package file, and this is how it should look like. Along with this, it will also create a configuration file, which is something similar to web.config file or your configuration file, which contain details of all connection strings, properties, parameter you want to change, and number of instances you want to have. In my next session, we will dig into this, or if you got time, open this in XML and then you can look into this. For now, we'll go ahead and we'll deploy this package in our first site on Azure. So I'll open my browser, and if you open your browser, give your credential, and you should be able to screen something similar to this. I'll go to hosted service. I'll choose new hosted service. You should be able to see your subscription here, and if you have number of subscription, you can choose the subscription where you want to deploy your application. In my case, I have only one subscription. I'll give the name as Hello World, and the URL I'll give is hello world again, but I might not able to get it. As you can see, this URL is not available, so I'll give it back to PMU. You can choose any region which is available. At the moment, data center in normal subscriptions allows 6 data center. This is an educational subscription, academic subscription. I have only 2 choices, and I'll choose deploy to production environment. With this, I'll be creating a hosted service as well as deploying it into the production. You can also choose just to create the hosted service and not to deploy it. In my case, because I have package ready, I'll also deploy it. With this, you can give a deployment name. For me, this is Hello World and version 1.0. In subsequent versions, we'll try to add grid views, tables, data, and storage and other stuff. Now this is critical phase. Here you will give location of your package which we just created. So alright, no, this is not the one. This is the one which we just created. So I'll copy this location and I'll come back to okay. I'll come back to right here. So I'll say browse, the location should be, and here is my package. I'll choose my package, and you can see your package is now, system is able to find the package. Second step is provide the configuration file. If you want, you can add some certificates also. In our example, we don't need any certificate. Scroll down and click OK. For all the students who are referring this example, I suggest put your name here, and you'll feel proud when you see your name on Azure. Next, I'll come back to my example, click on OK button. Now you will see a small warning here. This warning, let me click on more detail and show you. This warning says Azure suggests minimum deployment of 2 VM roles, because then they promised an SLA of 99.95%. Anything below 1 or 2 deployment or 2 VM, there is no SLA given. In our example, we are okay with that. So I'll say yes, and that's it. Deployment started. Now, while deployment is happening, I can little talk about what is happening in background. During this time, it will pick your package and upload it to a temporary storage. From that storage, it will first read the configuration file, and based on that, it will create number of VMs. It will deploy OS on that VMs, and this information is again written in configuration file. Once the VMs are ready, then it will look into the pack. Congratulations! Once initialization and hosting is done, you should be able to this screen. This screen says your production deployment is ready. To see your site, click on DNS, and you should able to see your site. Here it is. Congratulations on your deployment of first application on Azure. Thanks for joining this session. Stay tuned on these blogs, and I'll add some more session on how to use SQL and how to use storage. Thanks for joining. Bye.